Hey, S.H.E family, and welcome back. Yay, this is season 6, episode 6. We've got a fire interview for you guys today. Miss Tammy Perez, she is from Cuba. So I can't wait to hear what she's got to say about her experience, as a Cuban and then a Cuban American and dealing with race relations. So, before we get started, you know how we do. We got tea time. All right. And I said what I said.
Point blank and the period.
What inspired me to wear this shirt is because sometimes I can say very honest, truthful things. And I have learned to say it tactfully, but people still get hurt about some of the things that I say. And at the time when I say it, they kind of are hurt about it, but then they always come back around and say, you know what, thank you for telling me that, because nobody else probably would have ever said anything. So I like very honest, open, authentic conversations, people, situations. And even if I'm in the wrong, I need somebody to tell me, you fucked up, So... And I like hanging around people that really could tell me, when I've stepped out of line. So let's just say what we got to say. No LOL. Okay.
Yeah. And we in a sensitive time too. Like people are sensitive. So I said what I said. What you talking about? It is what it is.
It is what it is. People got to hear it sometimes though,
True.
So what you got? You got a shirt on?
Got a jersey on. MLB is coming back. I'm gonna really have to. Mike Trout, baby. Okay, I'm not gonna buy any tickets. I do go to games, like that's my thing. But I can't. I'm not messing around.
No, I don't know how that's all gonna look. But it wasn't today the first day of what NBA? Didn't they have an NBA game today, or what? What
was the NBA? I know that MLB was coming back. I wasn't sure about NBA, but if they're bringing sports back,
yeah,
how it's gonna look.
Masks are gonna be required. Maybe every other seed. I don't know.
Something I don't know. And I know that the Golden Knights are gonna be they're about to start getting hockey going back, and in Canada. But I think that the first game is sold out or something like that. I don't What are y'all talking? What? What? I'm confused.
Corona who? Hey, we're going to get through this. This too shall pass.
Amen.
All right, you guys. As promised, we're about to get into this interview. Let's go. Okay, and welcome back. Welcome back. As promised, we have a fire interview ready for you guys. We have Miss Tammy, and I'm going to let my co-host bring her in and introduce.
With the famous 5. Hey, y'all, I'm back for another episode. So we're going to go ahead and jump on in with this famous 5. We have Miss Tammy here. She was born in Cuba, raised in San Fernando, California. She is of the Gen X. What is that called? Gen X.
I guess genre?
Generation. Yeah, Gen X generation. She comes from a 2-parent household, both mother and father. And she is kind of the baby of 4 siblings, but she's older than her twin, which I think is so awesome. Twins I don't know, they hold a special place in my heart. And her astrological sign is a Cancer. So we welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, Cancer. I like y'all. I'm married to one of y'all.
Okay, good. We're good peoples. We try to be, at least.
Yeah, I think y'all mean well.
We do. We have our days. We're very stubborn. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure.
Well, welcome, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. You're welcome. This is the first time I've ever done something like this, so I'm excited. I'm
really?
glad it's with you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we are talking race relations. The reason why I even wanted to have this topic for this season of the podcast is everything that's going on in the world today, and it just seems like everything always comes around to race, and it's a problem to me. I'm very hopeful and optimistic, and I think that we can conquer this thing. But there are some people in this room, I won't say any names.
There's only about 3 of us, so.
Oh man.
That, she has a different view, and I have to remain hopeful. I just gotta,
Well, that's all we can do, because at the end of the day.
Right.
It's a lot.
So I know that you were born in Cuba, and you moved here at an early age. So tell us about your ethnic background, your nationality. How does everything? How was everybody? Was your mom and dad Cuban? How'd that go?
Okay, so my mom and dad are both Cuban, but my dad has a little bit of Jamaican in him as well. So there is Jamaican descent, there's African American descent, there's Cuban. From what I've been told. So our family kind of is expanded. So my parents are from Guantanamo Bay. So that's the naval base in Cuba. So that's where they were raised, out there. And then my dad wanted to take me and my brother out just because of all the communism and stuff that was going on at that time. So he actually married my mom and then came with the family. And they actually went to Florida first, like everybody usually does.
Okay.
And my dad didn't want to stay in Florida with the family, so he took my mom and my brother and me and brought us to California.
Wow. Did you guys have family there, or you just?
No, we have family. I have aunts. I have 3. My mom had 3 other sisters.
No, in California when you moved.
No.
You didn't know anybody.
Didn't know anybody.
Okay.
No. So my dad was like, "I'm not staying here."
You said in Cuba you still have family there?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that I'm actually finding out now that there is a lot of. So what my brother's been doing is we've been having family chats with our relatives in Florida, and they're letting us know that we have all these cousins and people in Cuba that we never knew. So we're learning our family tree little by little. So we still have the aunts and uncles and cousins out there, and then plus my 2 brothers and my sister. Don't know if they're still living or not, but apparently, and I still have an uncle that lives in Palm Springs as well, which is my dad's brother.
Okay.
So my dad's brother lives in Palm Springs. My mom's sisters live in Florida.
Which part?
One is in West Palm Beach, and then the other one, I believe, is closer to Orlando, if I'm not mistaken. And then I just met a cousin that's in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
That was on our Zoom chat too. That is part of my grandpa's side. It's insane. Like, it's too many people. I thought it was just me and my brother. Like, I really thought it was just us. And now I'm learning that there's a lot of people. So little by little.
Awesome. That's awesome. Now, was your dad in the military? Is that why you guys were?
He wasn't in the military. He just worked on the base. They both did.
Okay.
So they both had really close encounters with the military out there. So they both worked on the base. Now, my mom was an accountant, I believe. And then my dad was, I don't know what he was. He just worked really close with the military. I don't know exactly what he did though.
Okay. So you guys were not born on the base?
Yeah, we were.
Because
we were born on the base.
Isn't the base like U.S. territory?
They say that it is, but I guess there are certain portions that apparently where I was born, it was Cuba side. Trust me. There's a, So I'm like, okay, am I American or am I Cuban? And my parents are like, no, you're Cuban. I said, okay. Yeah. And I take it for the fullest. So, I represent, I take it 100%.
So I know that there is a very complex relationship, hostile even, between the U.S. and Cuba. I mean, it goes back decades.
Yeah.
How was that growing up as a Cuban American,
So I can only remember a little bit growing up in Cuba. Like I have vague memories. I remember a couple of Christmases pretty much, and that was it. And then coming to the States, it took me a lot to learn how to be in America. And I lost all my Spanish. So all my Spanish went away. So I literally had to relearn it and hang around different ethnicities just to be able to get it back. Because I literally was just speaking English because we didn't speak Spanish in the household. My parents spoke, but they never spoke to us in it. So then coming to America, of course, everybody, just because of my skin tone and my hair, I had an afro, everybody thought I was Black. But then, of course, when I started speaking Spanish, they were looking at me like, okay, that's a little weird.
Right.
So, you know, it took a little bit to adjust in middle school and junior high and high school. So I got teased a lot. And me and my brother literally lived two different lives. Like, I'm the crazy one, he's the quiet one. You know, I talk to people, he don't talk to people. So we lived literally two different lives, like me and him.
Wow. Wow. So let me ask you this. I know kids are mean. I know that. Yeah. Who gave you guys the most, or you? Did your brother deal with situations too? But who gave you the most, who teased you the most? And what did they say?
Well, I have to say African American and a lot of Black kids. Like, they used to call me sellout all the time. They used to make fun of my hair. They used to make fun of how I dressed.
Make fun of your hair because it was how different from theirs.
Right.
Exactly. Like I used to always have it like in a ponytail, like a dodo bird kind of thing. Cause I didn't know how to do my hair. I just did what I could. So I used to have it in a ponytail, dress what I could, because I was given, I wore what I was given, so they used to always say, oh my God, you look funny and you like a dodo bird. And oh yeah, all the time. I used to wear glasses. So I was not cute. I really wasn't. Like, I blossomed a lot. So I had glasses, like we had clunky glasses, bifocals. We wore high water pants. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everybody and my brother was very, very, very dorky. So he used to get teased, but he did his own thing. So we never used to hang out together. So I remember a specific incident when I was little. I used to always pick my hair. So my dad shaved my hair off and made me bald. So I had to go to school.
That's not nice.
Yeah. So he's like, you want to play with your hair and pick your hair out? I'm going to cut it off. So he did. So I remember going to school, and I went to school with a beanie, and the kids grabbed the beanie off my head and started making fun of me, of course. Yeah. They saw that I was bald. Yeah. So yeah, that was a kind of a traumatizing experience.
That's fucking traumatic. Okay. Did your dad know that they were teasing you to begin with?
Not really, because I really didn't tell my parents that kind of stuff. So I just kind of kept it to myself. So when he cut my hair, I was like, but I'm not going to school. He goes, you're going to school. I said, but Dad, no. He goes, no, you're going to school. So yeah, I was traumatized for a little bit with that incident in middle school. And then in high school, there was a time in high school, that was back in the 90s. So early 90s, 91, 92. And my school was having a riot. And it was the Latinos against the Blacks.
Was it Rodney King?
I don't know if it was Rodney King time or it was just.
That was 92.
I graduated in 92, so it happened prior to that.
Oh, okay.
And there was a huge riot in school, and of course I'm a Latina, so I'm hanging with because I used to hang around with cholos and things like that, and I was on their side. So of course the African Americans like, why are you over there? You're supposed to be on our side. You're a sellout. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So and I was like, but I'm Cuban. Like, I am a Latina. Like, you guys don't, like, can I go on the walkie PA system and let everybody know? Like, because everybody saw my afro and everybody saw my hair, so they just assumed that I was African American. So they never understood why I was with the Latinos all the time. So they used to always torment me and say stuff to me and call me a sellout my whole high school career. So it's just, So I'm just like, that's why, after I had kids, they're all interracial, they're all mixed. I have two children their dad is Mexican. Then Jacob and Daniel's dad, they're both Black. So my two oldest, it took them a while to understand their African American side. They didn't want to claim it. So they just said, I am Cuban and Mexican, and that is it. I am nothing else. Right. But now as they are adults, they understand they are looked at as African American.
Right.
So they get it now. So they understand, especially my daughter. She really gets it because she's very, very smart and intellectual. But at one point, they were really fighting it for a long, long time.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel that you are, I mean, how do you view yourself? As just Cuban only?
Well, I've come to the realization that I am Afro-Latina.
Okay.
So I take both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that now as an adult, as I'm getting older in my life. But back in the day, it was just, nope, I'm 100% Cuban. Nothing else. That's it. 100%. I tattoo it. I have it tattooed on me. You see my tats. Like I'm 100. So. But then now, when I saw on your page when you had that unapologetically, when you had that one thing, So I put on my leg unapologetically negra bella. So that way they know that I am Afro-Latina. So everybody can understand. And I'm unapologetically. Like I don't apologize for it. That's just me.
Right.
So now I embrace it. Yes.
Tam, can I ask you, when did that turn happen? When did you sink into being Afro-Latina?
Probably in my early 40s.
Okay.
Because in my 30s, I was still hesitant.
Yeah.
Right.
And trying to still be young, I guess you could say, and narrow-minded.
Yeah.
Then you hit your 40s and your whole mindset changes when you hit your 40s. So I got 4 more years to be 50. I need to get it right. So I need to understand that this is the life that I'm living and this is the world that I'm in. And I need to just embrace what God made me to be.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think, what do you think that people, just when they see you right off
they see black.
Yeah.
Oh, they see black. I mean, some people will think I'm Dominican. Like they'll look at me and they see a little bit of ethnicity in me. So are you Dominican? Are you Puerto Rican? I'm like, no, I'm Cuban. And they're like, oh, but of course my accent is not there.
Right.
Being around all different nationalities of Latin races, I'm kind of a mutt. So I don't have that accent. My dad had it deep. My dad had it deep. Right. And my mom had it deep. And all my aunts, they all have it deep. But me and my brother, we're Americanized. So we don't have, and then when I speak Spanish, I do sound Latin, but I don't sound Cuban.
Gotcha. Right.
So
you got the different dialects within Spanish too, right?
Yeah.
I will say that I do
a little bit of everything.
Right. I will say that I do hear something though. When you talk, you don't feel like you hear anything?
A little bit, but I talk so fast that it's just, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did your parents teach you any Cuban customs? Like, do you still practice any of that or even eat Cuban food or anything now?
So I definitely still eat Cuban food. I don't make it. I wish I had the knack to do it. So I just go to the Cuban cafe and eat it there. But other than that, my aunts and my uncles, they still do it. But I cook Mexican food. I cook American food. And if I do Cuban, I have to read a recipe and try my best to make it. But I've been here too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've lived in Florida for a hot minute, California, Las Vegas, and that's it, right? Okay. Yeah. How do you view racism in the different places, or is there a difference? Do you think that there is racism that exists towards you or people like you or your family or whatever in the different places?
I myself haven't experienced it too much as an adult. I do feel sometimes that I'm, how do you say it? I'm kind of picked on or overlooked because of my race. So I've seen it of course, in work related issues, or, when you work in corporate America, especially white corporate America, you get passed over positions that are people that are lower than you because of the fact that they're white. So you have to deal with that aspect of it. As far as dealing with just being in the street, getting pulled over by cops, even as a female, I've never gotten out of a ticket, ever. And I get pulled over for, I'm like, why am I getting pulled over, sir? Oh, you didn't stop at the stop sign in the parking lot. I'm like, what?
In the parking lot?
Yeah, how do I get stopped in a parking lot when I stop behind the car behind me? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, things like that. I'm like, well, why am I getting pulled over? Did I look different in the car? So I do get afraid sometimes when I'm driving, even as a female. And, my kids have really experienced it, especially my oldest. He's been hit a lot profiled a lot, and he is and he looks Latino, but you know, you could tell he has Black in him. But they when he was living out here, they used to pick on him a lot, so he used to get into a lot of trouble. So that's why I sent him away. But then he got in trouble because he went to Iowa, which is probably the wrong state to send him to. And then he got into worse trouble out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I fear for my boys the most. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I have my chocolate one, Jacob. Then I got Daniel, who's a big old tall, you know, and even though he's a big kid, you know what I'm saying? They're still going to look at him as a Black, you know, a Black young man. And then Isaiah, you know, deals with it too, you know? So it, you know, now with everything going on now, I'm just afraid, like, I need to know where you're at every 5 minutes. I don't care. I need to be able to locate you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like and it's come to that point, and it's really sad that we have to live that type of lifestyle for our kids and be afraid for them to just be out in the street.
Right.
It's really in California, they didn't really deal with it too much because we lived in areas where the majority was Latinos. So the kids felt comfortable. But I have to say, when we did move out here from California and we lived on the north side of town, the kids didn't understand the environment. So when they went to middle school, they were like, Mom, there's a lot of Black people out here and they're mean. Like, what do we do? And I'm just like, yeah, they were mean to them. Like, the kids got picked on a lot.
So the same thing that you had to deal with, they had to deal with.
And they were little. We came out here in 2004 and they were small. So they're in middle school or elementary back then.
Right. And what kinds of things did they have to endure?
Well, I know. I remember the first day of school when I sent them, they came back home and they said, Mommy, the kids were mean. And they were rude. Like, they were calling us names and they were being mean to us because, you know, I taught them to love everybody and just be nice. And I guess the kids they were in the school with didn't understand that.
Do you remember what kind of names?
They didn't specifically said at the time, but it's been so long. It's 2004 ago. You know, my memory's like, but yeah, they didn't understand the environment because they were used to the kids out in California. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different atmosphere for them. So it took them a minute to grasp it. So, I mean, and so, you know, going from middle school to elementary to high school, they did their best to, you know, coexist with who was there. But as they got older, they're like, okay, you know, we got to figure this out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you feel like they thought we got to pick a side? We got to pick a side.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know for Mia, she hung around a mixed culture. So she had Black friends, and she had Asian friends, and she had Latino friends. So she had kind of a mixed culture. Isaiah, he hangs around more of the white kids, which was crazy. And then with Daniel and Jacob, they really don't care. Jacob, all his friends are little African-American boys. So he loves his little friends. Those are his besties. Yeah, they each had their own little, you know, their own little people that they hung around with. And my brother was all white.
Really?
So he was all white. He didn't deal with Latinos really much. And he really didn't deal with African-American people, period. Right. So the fact that he's grown into himself and he's actually married to an African-American female is great. He never thought that he would marry. I'm telling you, because he was married to a Latina. He used to date Asian girls in school and white girls. Never, ever went next to an African-American female.
Wow. How interesting is that, right?
And gave him a wife, African-American wife. So I said, okay.
Do you get along with her?
Oh yeah, she's awesome. I love her. And her family's huge. Like, they're Rileys. So they're all from the Bay. So there's hundreds of them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we discussed, you know, racism that you received from the African-American community. Is there any kind of racism within the Hispanic culture? So like Cubans and, I mean, what about Jamaica? You say your father is part Jamaican, like
part Jamaican, yeah.
Like, have you noticed any type of racism there?
I know for a fact that Puerto Ricans and Cubans don't get along. So they have a clash. So whenever you try to compare the two, they get upset. Just like if a Salvadorian and a Mexican, same thing. You can't say that a Mexican is a Salvadorian because they will get upset. Like, you can't compare the two. That's just like if you're saying a Korean is a Chinese. No,
Right.
like, you can't mix the races together. So I've seen it happen where, you know, Puerto Ricans and Cubans, you know, they have issues and they go back and forth. And then also with Dominicans as well. I myself don't have issues with anybody. I don't care what race you are. I will talk to you, but people are set in there from how they were raised.
Right.
That race, we're not talking to them. We're not coexisting with them. You can't marry them. You can't talk to them. You know what I'm saying? That's just like me. You know, I've always tried to love every race, no matter what, you know, creed or color you are. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. At one point, I did not want to hang around African Americans. I was scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't see me in LA. You wouldn't see me go into any area that had to do with African Americans. I literally was scared for me myself.
It makes sense. Yeah.
I don't fight. Like,
right.
So what was the turning point for you? Because I mean, I have to kind of indulge a little bit because we do know each other, you know, from before today.
Yeah.
So what was the turning point for you?
I think after my first marriage, and I left him. I divorced him.
And the first marriage was what? He was of what
Mexican.
race?
He was Mexican.
Okay.
He was Mexican. So after I left him, I started hanging around with a Filipina girl that I went to school with. And she hung around all blacks. That was her thing. That was her people. She loved the black men. So she used to hang around the strip club scene. So we used to go to the clubs in Crenshaw, out there in Crenshaw and by the mall or whatever, and they were all black guys. And I'm like, oh.
I'll see some black folks in Crenshaw. I can tell you that right now.
Right. And then, you know, you go to the strip club and you see black men, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So, so that's where I was like, okay, well, maybe I can give, you know, the black race a chance. And, you know, I got fooled by a lot of them. I'm not going to lie, but it still didn't taint my, you know what I'm saying, my will to want to meet a black person. So my boyfriend now is black, you know what I'm saying? He has 3 beautiful, you know, African-American babies, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and Jacob's dad is black, of course. So, you know, I don't know what, even through all the turmoil and all the drama with them, it still didn't push me away, you know? So, because I can't see myself marrying a white person. I can't see myself.
And why is that? I'm just wondering.
Well, I mean, I don't know how far you can talk on the show.
I say what the hell I want to say.
Oh, okay, I just making sure.
Who gonna fire me? Viacom gonna fire me?
I mean, they don't have big enough hearts. So,
I wasn't ready.
I'm just being real. Like, you know, I'm not a small person. Like, I can't be with a small, you know.
So have you tried it? And it just didn't work out?
Yeah, it was a couple. And no. Damn. I dated an Italian guy, and I dated another white dude that I tried to give it. If I told you the story, you'd be like, what in the world were you thinking? I tried, but it didn't work out too well. So I was like, okay. So, and I can't see myself with another Latino because I've already been that route. And plus I know how strong-minded they could be. I don't have time for that. So I know black men are strong too, but I feel a more compatibility now as an adult with an African-American man, because I need somebody strong. I'm a very strong-minded person. So I need somebody strong next to me, you know, that we can represent and grow together. So, you know, so that's why I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens with, you know, I had the other 2, didn't work out too well, but hopefully this last one, you know.
Yeah. Well, that is wonderful. You have had quite an experience, quite a different experience than what we have been, you know, talking about. Yeah. I'm so thankful and grateful that you're sharing your story, because it literally, like, this whole thing comes down to race, this country.
Yeah. And it's really sad. Like, and it's really sad and sickening that it's gotten to this point, to where it's like, even in my church, like there's a lot of animosity in church right now too. Even in my church, like there's a lot of discussions and talks right now going through, because, you know, my church is interracial, so there's a lot of, you know, all different ethnicities,
Okay.
So some people don't understand what we're going through
Right.
as African Americans, so they don't get it. So they express how they're feeling, but then when we express how we're trying, then they're like, well. So I myself have not had issues with anybody, but we've literally been talking about this stuff for a couple months now, like midweeks and Bible studies and just talking about it. And I'm just like, okay, can we, like, okay, so where is there going to be a resolution? Why do we keep having these conversations?
Right.
Like, when is somebody going to actually say, okay, so now they're thinking about doing a diversity group and just trying to get different people in so that way people can understand what we're actually feeling and going through, because they just don't get it,
Yeah, they get it.
Oh,
They,
yeah.
no, they do. I'm sorry. They get it.
But Trish,
They get it.
you can't understand unless you're in. Oh, I can't understand what a white person goes through because I'm not white.
I didn't say they
You can
didn't.
understand.
I don't say they understand what we go through, but they
Yeah.
know what it is. They
Yeah.
No,
They
racism.
It's
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they know that it exists.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay.
It's just, are you going to do something about it?
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to.
that's what it comes down to. And so that's where there's been many conversations and discussions and people getting with each other and, just trying to address how they're feeling. So yeah, I'm in my bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you said I know your church is, diverse or whatever. How diverse is your friend circle? Like the people that you call and hang out with?
Oh, so I have every nationality. I have Filipino, Black, Mexican, white. I have all colors and sizes. So I don't, but my closest 5, I can say one is Latino, one is Filipino, one is Black, and one is white.
That's
So
amazing.
That is very diverse. Yeah.
I have one of each.
I love that.
Of my close 5. Because remember how we talked about that, how our circle is, how we used to talk about how our circle is really small?
Yeah.
So like literally in my circle, I have one of each color.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
That is so great. I can't say the same. I can't. Unfortunately, I don't know, if that is, my experiences or whatever, but I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
And
I get it.
Doesn't, I don't know, like, doesn't mix for me.
Yeah.
So most of my friend circle, I'm gonna say all of my friend circle, they look like me.
They look like you. Pretty.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, you were raised to view everybody just as humans. Like,
Yeah. And I try to do that with my kids too. I mean, I try to do that with my kids too, just to love everybody, but I know they deal with different things all the time because I'm not with them, and now that they're grown, all I can do is really just pray for them to make smart decisions, even though some of them don't, and just hope that I did my part as a parent.
Right.
And I'm always going to be there for them no matter what, but still they have to understand whatever mistakes that they make, they have to reap the repercussions. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. You know what I'm saying? I can only be there as a parent to give advice, but so that's why I say there's a lot going on. So I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So this pandemic has really just, the 2020 just sucks. It's just horrible. It's too much.
Throw the whole year away.
I think it's literally, I think it's pulling the veil back from the United States of America. And we are having to face what the fuck we are really
going on. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's a lot going on. I just need this president to get the hell out of office.
Yes.
And we need to find somebody new and try to start over.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Black Lives Matter movement?
I think it speaks a lot of volumes, and the fact that more people are coming out and even of all races and understanding that, yes, we are being hunted. I'm sorry. Like it's these all the, like I don't even want to be on social media anymore. There's so many videos popping up and so much, it just, and then Jacob seeing it, he's getting scared. Like there's so much stuff out there now that's coming up and that we didn't even know, which is very, it's very heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking and very, sometimes I'm afraid to even flip through Instagram because like there's another video of this and another video of that. And, you know, the other day, Erica Mena, so I don't know if you guys know that reality star on TV or whatever, all my reality that I watch.
Who did you say?
Erica Mena, the one from basketball or Housewife, whatever, one of the reality shows.
Okay.
Safari. She's married to Safari.
Okay.
And she put a video of, I don't know if it was a light-skinned black girl or if it was a white girl. No, it had to be a light-skinned black girl because her baby was right there too. And these 3 black girls were beating on her. And this black boy came up and kicked the baby in the head. And then the baby fell over, and then he went and started kicking the mom. They started kicking the mom, right? God. And so then she's like, we need to, you know, do justice for the baby because what does the baby have to do with it, right? So then the mom was defending the son as to why he kicked. I don't even know what the situation was, but I'm just like,
there's no defense for that.
There is no defense, right?
That's what I'm saying. So I was just like, how? That's not okay. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. Like, so, you know, there's so many different, and then when I saw that white lady throwing the black paint on the Black Lives Matter street sign, man, if I could have went through the dang camera and you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're just sitting there watching her. Like, is nobody gonna stop her from devaluating the street? Like, I don't understand. Like, how that's not okay. Like, but if it was flipped, oh, you already know they would have been on top of her. You know,
but it was flipped though. It was flipped. There was a black lady putting black paint on the Black Lives Matter one, and they were on top of her.
I just assumed that her check was direct deposit into her account, and it had at least 6 zeros behind it.
Oh my gosh! I was like, I don't understand. Like, you see how I'm saying it's 2 different stories, 2 different exact act. But 2 different colors, but you attack one and not the other. Like, that's insane to me. I don't understand. Like, that's crazy to me. It's just,
you speaking on social media, just saying that it's hard to go on social media and to be able to flip through things. I think that it's such a it's like a rock and a hard place. You want to protect your energy, but you also have to understand that this stuff is happening. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
I don't want to go on there and see all these terrible things, but also it has to be exposed. You know what I mean? So it's such a rock and a hard place.
And then it's exposed, but then nobody's doing anything about it. Like, the police aren't arresting anybody. They're not firing anybody. They're not, they're not taking action for these innocent lives being taken. Like, that's insane to me. That makes no sense. So our lives don't matter then? Like, no, apparently not. Like, they're not going to fire the cops for doing that. Like, Breonna Taylor's, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're still out. Like, that's insane.
It's fun.
Yeah. I really think it's just, I think that where we are in America, it literally is, are you a racist or are you not a racist?
Yeah.
Right.
And so the racists are doing what they do. And then the non-racists, we all need to get together and speak and come together because there are a lot of non-racist people, but they're not doing shit.
Yeah.
You literally got to say something. If you see something, you need to say, hey, no, that's not right. Yeah. And I don't care who it is because there's races of all colors, ethnicities, you know, men, women, and everything. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong, right?
Literally good and evil right now.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, we're living in the end times. And so, you know, God said this was going to happen. But that didn't think would happen when we were alive. Couldn't wait.
Well, I think 2020 is literally like, we're seeing clear.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole new decade. So something needed to happen. What happened in 2000? It was supposed to be.
After 1999, the
Y2K.
Party over with.
Nonsense. Yeah. So now, So.
Did you guys go get water and everything back then?
Yes. Like, I just need us to make it through this so we can tell our story later on.
Right.
Well, shit. Then we got on top of this race shit. Then we got the goddamn pandemic.
Yeah. So it's like, And then you get all these different stories. Okay, it's in the blood. No, it's in the cough. No, it's in the touch. No, it's in the, yeah.
How is this pandemic affecting Cuba? Do you know?
That I don't know. I haven't really heard much of anything happening out there. So I just know that a lot of people are just pretty much quarantined. They can't really do much.
Yeah.
They can't really go out and do stuff.
And so you don't talk to your family in Cuba, just the ones in Florida.
Just the ones in Florida, yeah. Yeah.
And have you been back there since? No? Do you have a desire to go back?
I would love to go back. I would love to. I want to learn my country, but right now it's like really scarce. Like, I don't even know if we could even stay in an Airbnb. Like, there's no way to travel over there now. So my daughter really wants to go. That's her dream to go, and that's mine too. And we were trying to go next year, but yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen anytime soon, I don't think. So
well, I want to say when Obama was in office, he lifted the sanctions.
Yeah.
So to where we could go, and then once
our friend, our
y'all's
top
friend
came in. What do you mean y'all friend? I didn't vote for that fool. So no, did not.
He took that
so
away.
now it's like, and it was easier back then when Obama, like, you can go there for like $500 and it was straight. But I never knew that because I was too busy working. So I didn't even have a chance to even explore it. And if I wish I would have, so I could have, at least learned my country. But
yeah,
I don't know when it's going to be able to happen now.
Right.
It's really sad.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, wow. Thank you. That's awesome. I thank you so much for just shedding light on your whole Cuban experience, in America. And it's really unfortunate. And on behalf of all the Black women in America, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. Seriously.
I know. Hey, I'm still here and I'm a strong person for it. So it doesn't change my perspective. It doesn't change my perspective on people. People are going to do what they're going to do, but it's not going to change how I act towards people. I'm still going to love no matter what. So.
And that's the most beautiful part about this whole thing, that you're still able to view people as human beings. I don't give a shit about what nationality or whatever they are. Either they're a good human being or not.
They're not. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. That's exactly how I look at it. So I don't let it torment my brain or make me think differently. No.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I really know that is really how you are.
I know, because you're my friend. I love you.
That's the beautiful. I love you too. That's the beautiful part about it. And I appreciate you as a human being.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate you, Trish, for just letting me even speak. And, I've never done something like this. So, I remember when we used to be in that office and, we had different nationalities in that office too. Because
I'm literally, I love it. I do. I'm like, come on, everybody. But some of them was crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had a few nutsos.
You're gonna have a few that they out there. That's the thing.
Yeah. We had a couple. Oh, we made it through.
We made it.
Yeah.
We made it. So did you, do you have any other questions for Tammy before we get out of here?
I did want to ask how, because you and your children had gone through the same, bullying from our race, unfortunately, how, and you said the only thing that you could really do was give them advice. What was that advice? Like what did that conversation look like when you kind of had to explain to your children?
I basically sat them down and just told them that no matter what, we have to love every color because God loved us anyway. So we have to make sure that we show that same love to people and don't have people look at us like we're crazy, because we're not. So that's the first thing people are gonna always assume, that you're crazy because you're Black. No, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? So, and the fact that we're all different colors in my house, people were like, literally we're all different colors. So they're like, those are your kids? I'm like, yeah, every single one of them. They all came out of me.
I was there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember pushing them all out and they all weren't small. So yeah. So, so they've grown up to be very loving children. Like all of them are loving. They all love their own specific way, but they're all good kids in that way. But they don't look at people crazy. They still, they still coexist with other races. They still talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Like they speak. Now Mia, on the other hand, she is Spitfire. That one right there. She'll tell you about your face. She'll cut you in 2.5 seconds.
Okay.
But they've really grown up to be really rounded, well-rounded kids.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
That was all I had.
I thank you again for coming and giving us a piece of yourself. You are
very welcome.
appreciated, and just keep being the wonderful human being that you are.
Thank you. I will, and you as well. And we have to get together soon.
We do.
Okay.
And we will.
All right.
All right. All right, She family.